You know, history isn't always handed to us in a neat little book. Sometimes it's more like a box of scattered puzzle pieces. And today, that's exactly what we're doing. We're going to piece together a truly pivotal moment from what looks like just a jumble of historical fragments. So, this is what we're working with. As you can see, it's not a clear-cut story. It's a puzzle, right? We've got names, we've got titles, some powerful phrases. Our job, together, is to figure out what incredible narrative is hiding here in plain sight. So where do we even begin with something like this? Well, we're going to treat it like a detective story. We'll start by examining every single piece of evidence, the names, the titles, these phrases, to see what story they're all trying to tell us. All right, so let's lay out our clues on the table. We've got some key names popping up, like Omar and Abu Talib. We've got a really powerful title, Al-Faruq. There's this recurring honorific phrase, and then there's this one word, found in the context of the source, that hints at something much bigger. A boycott. Keep that one in the back of your mind. It's going to be important. Okay, first things first in any puzzle, right? You gotta find the corner pieces. For us, that means figuring out who the key figures are at the center of this whole thing. So let's meet our cast of characters. And boom, one name just jumps right off the page. Omar. He's clearly a central figure in whatever is going on here. But who was he exactly? Get this, the text doesn't just call him Omar. He's given this incredible title, Al-Faruq, which means the one who distinguishes between right and wrong. Now, you don't just get a title like that for fun. It signals that this person had immense moral authority. But Omar wasn't on some solo mission, not at all. These fragments mention a whole network of other people. Some seem to be allies, like Abu Bakr, and others, well, they look like potential opponents, like Al-Asi ibn Wa'il. This tells us we're not just looking at one man's story. We're looking at the dynamics of an entire community. All right, we've got the people, but what's the story? Let's dig for the heart of this puzzle. Because hidden among all these names and titles, there's one complete, powerful sentence that really stands out. And I think this is the emotional core of our entire story. So you have to ask yourself, what was this community actually going through? What kind of crisis, or maybe hope, is captured in these little fragments? And here it is. O Allah, strengthen Islam with the more beloved of these two men to you. Wow. This isn't just a sentence, it's a prayer. It's a desperate plea to strengthen their new faith, Islam, by bringing a powerful leader over to their side. That's a huge sign of a community that is absolutely struggling. You know, when you see a prayer for strength, that's a massive clue. It almost always implies there's a serious struggle going on. So now we know what to look for. Other clues that point to some kind of opposition or conflict. And remember that one little word I told you to keep in mind? Boycott. This is where it just clicks into place. This single piece of context changes everything. It frames the entire narrative. This wasn't just some friendly debate. This was a time of intense social and economic pressure. And just like that, the battle lines become crystal clear. We can literally start sorting our cast of characters into two distinct camps. On one side, you have the forces of change, with figures like Omar and Abu Bakr. And on the other, you have the forces of opposition, people like Al-Asi ibn Wa'il, who seem to be representing the old guard. And check this out. This fragment, which is a quote from the Quran, gives us even more insight. It's defensive. It tells us that the conflict was theological, too. This new movement was being accused of being fake, just poetry or fortune-telling, while its followers were insisting that, no, this was a direct revelation from God. Okay, so we have all our pieces laid out on the table. We've got the characters, we've uncovered their core plea, and we understand the deep conflict they were trapped in. Now it's time to step back and put this whole puzzle together. I mean, think about the journey we just took. We started with what looked like a chaotic mess of fragments. Then we identified the key players. We found the emotional heart of the story in that desperate prayer. We understood the context of the struggle they were in. And by doing all that, we've revealed what looks like a monumental turning point. And here it is. This is the story our fragments were trying to tell us all along. During a crushing boycott, the early Muslim community prayed for a powerful, respected leader to join their cause. The conversion of Omar, a man so respected he was called Al-Faruq, the one who knows right from wrong, was the literal answer to that prayer. It was the game-changing moment that injected incredible strength and hope into a movement that was under siege. We just managed to reconstruct a critical moment in history from just a handful of scattered clues. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other crucial stories, other turning points in our past, are still out there?
just waiting in fragments for someone to come along and piece them back together.